Council. Let us pray. Almighty God, ruler of heaven and earth, we beseech thee to inspire and guide all our counsels and actions, so that we may always walk in the path of justice, love, and charity to one another. Help us with thy grace to do only those things that will promote the unity, happiness, and prosperity of the earth. Distinguished colleagues, our gallery seems to be full, but just before then, it is important that I mention that if you listen to the national anthem, but just before that then, was the original national anthem that was important that I mention by the National Assembly, and particularly that line that says, Nigerians all are proud to serve our motherland. But many places that we go to in public functions, we see where they bring out and say, Nigerians all and proud to serve. No. We pass, Nigerians all are proud to serve. So I hope the National Orientation Agency will note the correction we have just made. Please, my brothers, my colleagues, let us examine the votes and proceedings of 19th day of November 2024. Page 501, page 502, Page 503. Page 504. Page 505. Page 506. Page 507. Page 508. Page 509. Page 510. Page 511. Page 512. Distinguished Senator Odende.
Thank you, Mr. President. My dear colleagues, I stand to move that the votes and proceedings on Tuesday, 19 November 2024 be adopted. I so move.
Distinguished Senator Agadaga.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Chief Benson, Senator Chief Benson Sunday Agadaga. I hail from Bayelsa East Senatorial District. Stand to second the motion ably moved by distinguished Senator Dende for the adoption of the votes and proceedings of yesterday. Thank you, Mr. President.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded. Those who are in support of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The votes and proceedings are hereby adopted. We want to acknowledge the presence of staff and students of Brookstone International Foundation School, Mabuchi in Abuja, who are here in the gallery to observe the Senate proceedings. They are standing. We welcome you and we wish you fruitful observations. You may be seated. We also want to acknowledge the presence of the staff and students of Rosary Nursery and Primary School, Guzape, in Abuja, who are in the gallery to observe the Senate proceedings. We wish you fruitful observations and journey mercies back to your destination. You may be seated. We want to observe and acknowledge the presence of staff and students of HMI Stars Academy, Katampe, Abuja, who are in the gallery to observe Senate proceedings. Wish you fruitful observations and journey mercies back to your school. You may be seated. We want to acknowledge the presence of Students Representative Council, Students Union Government, Auchi Federal Polytechnic in Auchi. They are in the gallery to observe Senate proceedings. We want to wish you fruitful observations and at the end, journey message back to Auchi. You may be seated. We want to also acknowledge the presence of staff and students of Mewa International University of Nigeria, Kilometer 1, Abuja Kefi Expressway, who are in the gallery in their numbers to observe Senate proceedings. Wish you fruitful observations and journey messages back to your university. You may be seated. From the clerk of the Senate, a delegation from the Embassy of the People's Republic of China, which is in Nigeria, led by the new ambassador, His Excellency Yu Junhai, will pay a courtesy visit to the Senate today and the Senate leadership. The chairman and vice chairman of the Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs and other distinguished senators who are disposed at that period are please requested to join the Senate President and to receive the visitors as follows. Wednesday, the 20th day of November 2024, time 2 p.m., conference room 301. Please accept, Your Excellencies, the assurances of my highest consideration. Signed, Chinedu Akubweze, Clerk of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Distinguished colleagues, today, the 20th day of November 2024, is the birthday of Senator Muhammad Ali Ndume. On behalf of the Senate, I wish distinguished Senator Muhammad Ali Ndume a very happy birthday. I wish him long life, more prosperity, and many more years of service to our fatherland, Nigeria. Leader of the Senate. Yes, I think let's go by way of petition first. Who has petition? Petition. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Rufai Hanga, representing Kano Central. The petitions are arise on Order 40 of the Senate Standard Order 2023 as amended, and wish to draw the attention of the Senate to the petition from people living in Gama, Kwari, Java, who owns plots and farms against the Nigerian Air Force through the Ministry of Defense over an alleged seizure of their land under false pretense. A letter resold it to a private land developer situated at Panisau Road, Java, close to Pence Pagi local government area, Kano State. That most of the complainants are acquired certificates of occupancy with respect to the farmland seized by the Nigerian Air Force, using Ministry of Defense as cover up, where the maliciously infringed on their rights through intimidation and denial of right to farm in the land, whereas they lawfully acquired through inheritance. That they instructed the occupants to make the farmlands into plots and gave them 6 months to vacate the land, claiming the armory was now very close to the houses, which they did, and were later forcefully ejected, and the farmland was sold to a local unjustified. Instead of using land for public purposes, as they claimed, they sold it to private land developer, and they changed the purpose from armory, which is for public interest, to commercial and racial purpose, and started selling instantly to individuals at a very high cost, which is contrary to the provisions of the law, sir. So they are petitioning to the Senate, sir, that Senate do please look into it and do the needful. That's petition number 1, sir. The petition number 2, sir, is petition against the custom. Drawing the attention of the Senate, the petition from AA Hikima and Co. and the Council for Southern Market Shop Owners and Online Marketers Association against the Nigerian custom over an alleged ongoing and systemic extortion, harassment, and arbitrary seizure of goods and vehicles meant for delivery to northern Nigeria. These Southern marketers are primarily local goods transporters and traders engaged in lawful transport and non-dutiable goods, including cosmetics, solar equipment, bulb, and bicycles. These goods are procured
But
from
they have,
Lagos.
between
Sir.
Senator Hanga,
Sir,
they have a prayer there.
the prayer is for the Senate to look into it and do the needful, sir.
Okay, so you may lay the petitions.
It's okay, sir. I submit, sir.
You may lay the petitions.
The two, okay, sir. I use my pipe. Or what?
The petitions are hereby referred to the Committee on Ethics, Code of Conduct, and Public Petitions to revert to the Senate in 21 days.
Point of order.
Petitions first, please. Petition, yes, Senator Nwebui.
Thank you, Mr. President. I remain Senator Peter Onyekachi Nwebonyi. I represent the good people of Ebonyi Senatorial Zone. Mr. President, before you is a petition from one of my constituents by name Mrs. Chinyere Urumta, the Acting Registrar General of Council for Regulation of Freight Forwarding in Nigeria. Your Excellency, her petition is being forwarded by her counsel, Yoka Stan and Co., legal practitioners of number 1 Durban Close, Wuse 2, Abuja. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the petition is predicated on the denial of fair hearing, suppression of justice, records, facts, and truth, and breach of provision of the Council for Regulation of Freight Forwarding in Nigeria Act number 16 of 2007.
What is the prayer?
The prayer, Your Excellency, is to restore her, the acting registrar, as the substantive registrar of the organization, Your Excellency.
Any legal encumbrance?
There's no legal impediment, Your Excellency.
You may lay the petition.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
The petition is referred to the Committee on Code of Conduct and Public Petitions to revert to the Senate in 21 days. Yes, distinguished minority leader petition.
I have a petition from some of my constituents who recently undertook a training in the Hyperdark Youth Transformation Program training. Mr. President, part of the matter is that these constituents of mine participated in the program on several vocations, in this case, in the category of catering. At the end of the training, they were given clearance certificates and registration. But instead of being given the items necessary for them to start their vocation, such as gas cooker, set of pots, blender, rolling board, pancake pan, and mixer, they were merely given a set of spoons and a knife, and withholding withholding the other items. Mr. President, the federal government hyperdeck youth transformation training was intended to take off the street from youths and from idleness leading to crime. And so this my constituents are praying the Senate to investigate the circumstances of the withholding of their own items to start their vocation while others were given. And so, Mr. President, I present this petition, therefore, for the Senate to direct investigation and, of course, direct the IPADEC Benue State chapter to release to them their startup kits so that they can start a meaningful vocation.
Any legal impediments?
No legal impediment, Mr.
You
President.
may lay the petition. Let's finish with the petitions. The petition is referred to the Committee on Code of Conduct and Public Petitions to revert to the Senate in 14 days. Any other petition? Any further petition? Distinguished Senator Yaya.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, I rise to raise point of order relying on Order 41 and 51, which with your permission, I may read.
Proceed.
Thank you, sir. Order 41 reads that the matter for discussion shall, if possible, be referred to the President of the Senate before commencement of the day's proceedings, and the President of the Senate shall refuse to allow the claim unless he is satisfied that the matter is definite and urgent. And 51 reads that notice shall not be dispensed with in the case of a motion or in respect of any other proceeding for which notice is required except with the consent of the President of the Senate and the general assent of senators present. Mr. President, I mentioned this issue to you yesterday and you gave me permission to raise it today. This regards with the motion jointly sponsored by myself, distinguished Senator Muhammad Adamu Aleru, and distinguished Senator Garba Musa Medoki on the recent episode of a violent gang of criminals that have infiltrated this country from Mali and Burkina Faso and have harassed and killed so many people in my constituency and threatens the other constituencies in both Sokoto, Kebbi, Sokoto and Kebbi states. So it is with that permission that I am seeking your permission, Mr. President, to briefly raise this motion in order to bring attention to this factor to all Nigerians.
Yes. So have you distributed the written petition?
Yes, there are copies.
Otherwise,
no, the copies are there. Distribute now. Oh, they are distributing the copies now.
Distinguished colleagues, Senator Abdullahi Yahya had mentioned to me about these marauding gangs, and he has said he would like to bring it up as a matter of urgent national importance. Is it the view of the Senate that he be allowed to proceed? Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, my distinguished and highly respected colleagues. I do appreciate this approval that you have granted us to present this motion in this exalted chamber today. The motion is on urgent need for the federal government to take stringent measures to stop the infiltration of a group of violent terrorists known as Lakurawa from entrenching themselves in some northwestern parts of Sokoto and Kebbi states. Senate, aware that a group of terrorists from neighboring Burkina Faso and Mali, known as Lakurawa, has infiltrated the country through the Nigeria-Niger border at Ilela, Tangaza, Silami local government areas of Sokoto State, and are there.
The chief whip.
And from there, attacking communities in Augi and Ariwa local governments in Kebbi State. Senate recalls that this violent gang of terrorists had raided and dispossessed these communities prior to the large-scale invasion of Mera, a village in Augi local government, on November 8, 2024, killing more than 20 people and fleeing with their livestock amounting to hundreds of millions of naira. Senate is aware that Kebbi State government promptly responded by sending a delegation with relief materials to the affected villages and assistance to families of the deceased. The Senate is also aware that my humble self, distinguished Senator Muhammad Adamu Aleru of Kebbi Central Senatorial District, distinguished Senator Garu Musa Medoki of Kebbi South Senatorial District, along with some members of the House of Representatives from Kebbi State, have been to those areas to commiserate with the victims of the attack on behalf of the National Assembly. The Senate is aware that if timely, adequate, and decisive measures are not taken, this group can spread its foreign reign of terror to other parts of northern parts of the country and beyond. The Senate notes that the prompt response of the Ministry of Defense and the Armed Forces, who dispatched a well-armed military response squad that was able to dislodge the terrorists and secured the release of herds of cattle and other livestock that were stolen by the terrorists. Accordingly, the Senate resolved to, one, urge the Nigerian military to maintain their presence and vigilance in the affected communities to hold the activities of Lukarawa from spreading further across the region. Two, further direct the military to work with the communities and other security agencies, set up early warning mechanisms to forestall further incursions. Three, further urge the federal government to send an assessment team to the affected areas to estimate the extent of damages and to determine the immediate relief materials needed by the affected communities and families. And four, observe 1 minute silence in favor of over 20 people who were killed in the community in the wake of the terrorist incursions. I thank you very much, Mr. President. I thank you, my colleagues, for giving me this opportunity.
Is it Senator Alero?
Thank you, Mr. President, and my distinguished colleagues. President, I rise to second and also to support this motion ably moved by my colleague, Senator Yahya Abdullah. It is true that the peace lobbying people of Mera town in Augi local government area of Kebbi State were gruesomely murdered by terrorists in the name of religion. Over 20 of them were killed innocently. And not only that, Mr. President, the whole local government and neighboring local government areas too were living in fear because these terrorists are well armed with highly sophisticated weapons. And I can attest to that, Mr. President, because they move freely without anybody harassing them. Our security agents, one of them was even killed. Mr. President, I want your attention. The people over there are disturbing the debate. Mr. President, I want your attention. The people over there are disturbing the debate.
Yeah, proceed. Continue. I'm with you.
Mr. President, this is a very serious matter because it touches on national security. And that's why I want your attention and indeed the attention of Nigerians. Mr. President, if you recall that banditry started in Zamfara State. And about 9 years ago, nobody thought that it would spread to neighboring states. But we didn't take immediate measures to arrest the situation. And gradually, it spread to neighboring states of Sokoto, Zamfara, Katsina, Kaduna, and even beyond, even Niger State. So this Lakarawa movement is a terrorist movement. They came from Mali. They control the whole of northern Mali. And they made that part of the country ungovernable. Recently, the government of Mali, with the assistance of a foreign country, was able to dislodge quite a number of them. And they started spreading to other parts of West Africa, including Nigeria. Even though as far back as 4 years ago, some of them moved to Sokoto. And I think during the reign of Governor Aminu Tambuwal, now a senator, he contacted the then president, and armed military men were sent, and quite a number of them were killed. So, Mr. President, the time to act is now if we want to control the spread of this terrorist. Mr. President, we have been discussing about security in this Senate. I want us to recall what happened in the 8th Senate and the 9th Senate. We had discussed extensively on how we can tame the tide of banditry and terrorism. We made recommendations, 5 recommendations, and we asked the executive arm of government to implement those resolutions. Mr. President, it is still relevant for us to insist that those resolutions should be implemented. And if we do so, quite honestly, it will reduce the incidence of banditry and insurgency in this country. In fact, we can reduce it to the barest minimum. Mr. President, lastly, I associate myself to all the prayers contained in the motion heavily moved by Senator Yahya Abdullahi. And let me end by commending the security agents who immediately sent in reinforcement, and that made it possible to send away the terrorists and also recover the rescued cows. And that has brought relative peace to the area. And I also commend the government of Kebbi State by sending relief materials to the affected area. The governor was there yesterday to commiserate with the people. Thank you, Mr. President.
Distinguished Senator Maidoke, is he around? Huh? Distinguished Senator Tamboa, yes.
Thank you, Mr. President, for the privilege. I am Aminu Waziri Tambuwal. I represent Sokoto South Senatorial District of Sokoto State. Mr. President, I rise to lend my voice in support of this motion as moved and seconded by Senator Abdullahi and Adamu Mohamed Alero. Indeed, as said by Senator Mohamed Adamu Alero, when I was on the saddle as governor of Sokoto State, the glory of God Almighty, we had an encouraging of this group, possibly, and I think I may be correct, for the first time in Sokoto State in 2018. And we had to mobilize in collaboration with the federal government to dislodge them and disperse most of them. It was a very, very well carried out operation by the security personnel. I was therefore surprised, Mr. President, when I read in the press some security officers or officials saying that this was the first time that we had such an incursion of this bandit or of this terrorist group in Nigeria. That is not correct. And Mr. President, I support all the prayers of this motion. We need to nip this in the bud. It's too serious for us to allow to take it lightly, because these people are well armed with sophisticated weapons, and I believe they even have some international connections. Therefore, there is a need for the government of Nigeria to take this matter very, very seriously. Otherwise, it may snowball, as did the banditry from Zamfara into virtually every part of northwestern Nigeria and several parts of north central. So I support this motion, Mr. President, and I urge our colleagues so to do. Thank you very much.
Let me invite the Deputy Senate President to close this discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President, for giving me the chance to speak. I stand in solidarity with people of Kebbi State, because this is a new dimension to the problem of insecurity we're having in that area. It is sad that while our security agencies are working very hard to deal with the current situation that we have, or the situation that was there before these people came into Kebbi State, when the security agencies are working very hard, day in, day out, sacrificing their lives to deal with the situation that was hitherto occurring in that state. Now, a new dimension has come to exacerbate the problem of insecurity that we are facing in that area, in that state. I think it's good to nip the entirety in the board. It's good to nip it in the board. This is how Boko Haram started. Those guys were coming in from other parts of the world, other parts of the West African sub-region into Borno State then. And the appropriate action that was taken did not take place at the right time. And so they got emboldened, and the rest is now history. We saw all we went through, what we went through, not only the people of Borno State, but the entire country, the entire northern part of this country saw greater devastation that they ever witnessed in the life of northern part of Nigeria. Now, what we need to do is to urge our security agencies double their effort. We know they are doing very well. They are putting their lives on the line, fighting for our safety, safeguard us, give us security, for us to sleep with our two eyes closed every night. And that made them to lose their lives. They are killed, in action. So we thank them. We appreciate what they are doing. It's a new challenge. It's a new challenge. We urge them to do more. They are doing very well. It's a new dimension to the entire scenario we have in the state of Kebbi. And I'm very sure the Senate and of course the state government that is doing very well will also do more to make sure that as we assist our security agencies to deal with this new dimension that has come to increase the problem of insecurity that we have in Kebbi State. I condole the families of those that have lost their lives, those who have their properties due to the actions of these foreigners who have come to invade our country. I urge the Senate to support this motion because anything that happens to any part of this country is something that affects the entire country. I say something, Mr. President.
Is there anybody that is opposed to this motion? Well, if there is nobody that is opposed to the motion, we go to the prayers. Prayer 1, urge the Nigerian military to maintain their presence and vigilance in the affected communities to halt the activities of this Lakurawa group from spreading further across the region. I would have put the question, but I think we should commend the military for their prompt action already. No, I know in the prayer, we should first commend the military for their prompt action. Then before we tell them to maintain their presence. Is there anybody that will amend this prayer 1? Senator Leru.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mohammed Adamaleru, my name. Mr. President, I want to amend the first prayer to commend the military for sending immediate reinforcement of personnel to the area to restore peace and also to maintain presence in the area.
Senator Mangunu.
Distinguished President of the Senate, distinguished senators, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. I second the motion for amendment ably proposed by Senator Adamu Alero. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, prayer 1 has been amended to say that commend the Nigerian military for their prompt response to these insurgents, and then also urge them to maintain their vigilance in the affected communities to halt the activities of this Lakurawa group from spreading further across the region. Those in support of prayer 1 as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2, further direct the military to work with the communities and other security agencies to set up early warning mechanisms to forestall further incursions. Those in support of prayer 2, as stated herein, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 3, further urge the federal government of Nigeria to send an assessment team to the affected areas to estimate the extent of damages, to forestall and to determine the immediate relief materials needed to be given to the affected areas, affected families. Those in support of prayer 3 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 4, observe 1 minute silence in honor of the deceased community members who have so far been killed through the activities of this terrorist group. Those in support of prayer 4 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, let me thank Senator Abdullahi Yahya for bringing this motion. And this is the way it starts. And if it is not nipped in the bud, it will spread terror across many parts of this country. So I also want to use this opportunity because from the body of your motion, you pointed out that the Nigerian military moved swiftly and they were able to dislodge them from the communities that they kill people and occupied. And so while we commend the military, we want the military to continue to maintain their presence in those regions in order to forestall a further incursion into the country of this terrorist group. So, and I thank all my colleagues for their contributions. The security of lives of Nigerians is important to all of us, and security belongs to all. So thank you for bringing this, and I hope these motions that we have made today and all the resolutions so far will help to forestall the new group from gaining prominence in the country like all previous groups had done. Thank you so much. Can we now rise for 1 minute silence in honor of those so far killed? May the souls of all Nigerians who have so far been killed by these insurgents infiltrating the country from Burkina Faso and Mali, known as Lakurawa Group, rest in perfect peace.
Point of order. Point of order.
Yes, Senator Sukwa. Senator Sukwa Ekpenyang.
Good morning, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. Order 41, the matter for discussion shall, if possible, be referred to the President of the Senate before commencement of the day's sitting, and the President of the Senate shall refuse to allow the claims or else, unless he is satisfied that the matter is definite and urgent. Order 51, notice shall not be dispensed with in the case of a motion or in respect of any other proceeding for which notice is required, except with the consent of the President of the Senate and the general assent of the senators present. Mr. President, I have here before me a motion on the urgent need to investigate the slow pace of work on the Odukpani-Itu Federal Highway in Cross River State. The Senate is aware that the Odukpani-Itu Federal Highway is a major highway in Cross River State that connects Calabar, the first capital of Nigeria,
Oh, sorry.
to Itu in Akwa Ibom State.
We've not given you the permission to move the motion yet.
Yes, sir. I was just reading the highlights, Mr. President.
You may be seated. Distinguished colleagues, Senator Asukwa brought to my knowledge the plight of these roads between Itu in Akwa Ibom State and Cross River State, which today thousands of people are stranded. The road has been bad for over 10 years, but it has reached a point where people are now taking the waterways from Moron to Calabar. So that's the only access road that links Cross River State with Abia State and Akwa Ibom. It is in such terrible state that it felt it should bring this to the fore to ask for remedial measures immediately to alleviate the sufferings of all Nigerians who traverse the road on a daily basis. We have already taken a matter of urgent importance but I looked at Order 41. And if you look at Order 41.4, please refer to your Order 41.4. You'll see that Order 41.4 says that not more than one such motion may be made at the same sitting of the Nigerian Senate. The word is not shall, the word is may, which means that we can appeal to the Senate that this one more motion to be allowed in view of the fact that the order says may and not shall. So let me put the question. Is it the view of the Senate that since we can allow discretion, that it may be allowed to take this motion in spite of the fact that the distinguished Senator Abdullah Yahya had already taken the motion for the day? Those in support that it should be allowed to proceed say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Yes, Azuko, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. My sincere gratitude to the distinguished members of this hallowed chamber. Motion on the urgent need to investigate the slow pace of work on the Odukpani to Federal Highway in Cross River State. The Senate is aware that the Odukpani to Federal Highway is a major highway in Cross River State that connects Calabar, the first capital of Nigeria, to Itu in Akwa Ibom State, and is also a major route for transportation, commerce, and social integration within Cross River State and the broader southeastern and south-south regions in Nigeria. Also aware that the highway is the primary corridor for facilitation of the transportation of agricultural produce such as cocoa, oil palm, cassava, and yams from rural areas to urban markets, and also provides access to tourist attractions such as the Obudu Mountain Resort and the Abokim waterfalls. Further aware that the road also serves as an evacuation corridor for the supply of solid minerals across the south-south and southeast regions from quarries in Cross River State, as well as for the Calabar port, which is strategically important as a bulk cargo port for petroleum products being conveyed to the north central and northeast of Nigeria. Observes that the highway has been in a state of disrepair for years, with significant portions uncompleted despite repeated promises and allocations in federal budgets. And the delay in completing the highway has caused untold hardship to commuters and residents, disrupted economic activities, and increased transportation costs for agricultural produce and other goods. Believes that the completion of the Dukpani-Itu highway is not only a matter of infrastructure development, but also a moral and economic obligation to the people of Cross River State and the Niger Delta region at large. Further believes that the completion of repairs on the Odukpani-Itu highway directly supports the renewed hope agenda of President Tinubu by fostering economic growth, improving connectivity, and enhancing social welfare in Cross River State and beyond through job creation, improved market access, and support for MSMEs through improved infrastructure. The Senate accordingly resolves to A, mandate the Senate Committee on Works to investigate the reasons behind the non-completion of repairs on the Odukpani-Itu highway, including assessing the utilization of funds allocated for the project over subsequent budget cycles. B, direct the committee to summon relevant agencies, including the Federal Ministry of Works, Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, and contractors involved in the project to provide detailed reports on the status of the highway and challenges being encountered. C, urge the federal government to prioritize the immediate completion of the Odukpani-Itu highway to alleviate the suffering of the people and unlock the economic potential of the region. I so move. Thank you.
Distinguished Senator Ekong Samson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am Ekong Samson, I speak for Akwa Ibom South. Incidentally, a co-sponsor this motion. I move respectfully that this motion, as ably canvassed and framed, be adopted by the Senate, and if it meets the privilege of that I have on the floor, I may adumbrate 2 points on this well-intended motion. Respectfully, Mr. President, my dear colleagues, the motion contemplates the hardship which passengers face daily, which commuters face on the very famous Calabar-Itu Highway. The framing here is Odukpani-Itu, but it is well known as Calabar-Itu Highway. This is a major corridor that serves a lot of needs for our people. It's a very old road. It's a very strategic pathway to our communities. One recalls when we proudly accompanied the Senate President to Calabar not long ago. Some of us who tried to come back faced hell on that route, and that included the minority leader of the Senate, who spends hours facing a lot of security challenges, as it were, on that road. We need to look at the condition of our highways. And between Udupani, Uyo, down to Ikodekbene, there's real cause for concern. So this motion is very well intended. By accepting the components of this motion, we will be helping a lot for our people. But let me also thank the Senate President, because today he has shown clearly that the Senate is not manacled by the strictures of rules and procedure. We are here to do justice to serve our people. And what the Senate President has said clearly about the time that we can accommodate more motions in the interest of this country is very commendable. The Senate is well on its way to serving this country, and we must not be manacled by the strictures of rules and procedure. In fact, where there's a conflict between those manacles and justice, justice must prevail. And this, the Senate President has done clearly today. So I support this motion. It's well intended. It serves not just Akwa Ibom and Cross River, but indeed the larger the larger landmass that surround those communities. A lot has been said about the need for us to look at the state of our roads. And Udupani Itu Road is one persuasion that we must look at. This would be our respect for the President of the Senate, respect for Cross River and Akwa Ibom, and respect for Nigeria. This road is very, very important. And the time is now for us to look at that road, reconstruct it as it were, give it more attention so that we can continue to drive the economy of this country. I thank you.
Yes, dismissed Senator Dixon.
Thank you, Mr. President, and my dear colleagues. Henry Sirake Dixon, Bayelsa West. Mr. President, I rise to associate myself, as most of us will readily do, given the opportunity, to associate myself with the motion and the prayers that have been presented. The motion is straightforward, it's not complicated. The issues are also germane. The first remark I would like to make is that I'm somehow surprised that this road is still a subject matter that is still coming before the National Assembly. Because I recall that in 2007, when I was elected into the House of Reps, we had a member, then Honorable Ita Enang,
who later became distinguished senator, who severally raised these issues about this Itu, Udupane Itu Road, severally. And I can see our speaker there nodding in agreement. And from 2007 up until now, it's shocking that this matter is still lingering, and this important arterial road connecting a very critical part of our people, of this country, is still the way it is. Having said that, we know that the president is executing a major road, that's the Lagos-Calabar road, which we support, but it will open up our coastal communities. But while doing so, we should not abandon other important roads, not just this one. We also have the East-West Road and several others. And which is why maybe when we come to the issue of the prayers, we may make a slight amendment so that we look at other important roads in this country that needs to be attended to, meaning that the Committee on Works, working with the Ministry of Works, need to attend to, while focusing on the big roads that the federal government is working on. No investment in infrastructure is a waste. No investment in infrastructure anywhere in the country is a waste, and all should be supported and encouraged. It is with these few remarks, Mr. President and my dear colleagues, that I urge support also, that the motion should be supported. But maybe, as I said earlier, when we come to the issue of the prayers, we may elaborate it a little bit so that the committee can collate all these other important roads in all parts, in all zones of our country, and do a holistic job and interface with the Ministry of Works. And happily, motions like this at this time, it's quite timely because we are preparing to receive Mr. President's appropriation estimates. So if there is focus and there is seriousness, and we're all committed to it, and a holistic job is done, then all of these can come as inputs in next year's appropriation. I support this motion, and I so do. The distinguished Senator Ome.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Victor Ume. I represent Anambra's Central Senatorial District from the Southeast Geopolitical Zone of Nigeria. Mr. President, I rise to speak on this very, very important motion for the fact that I'm very well versed about this road. I know this road very well. I've used it severally going to Calabar. This Calabar Itu road, or Udupani road. Udupani is where we stop to buy banana and fish. That road has been a major carriageway connecting this part of the South-South to the Southeast geopolitical zone of Nigeria. Calabar has the export processing zone, and quite a number of businesses are in Calabar processing one thing or the other. Unisem, which is a Dangote cement before. Lafarge, yes. All the cement they produce there pass through Udupani to move. So it's a carriageway that has high traffic of trailers
heavy-duty trucks moving goods from the Calabar Export Processing Zone to the southeast and to other parts of Nigeria. Dangote is in Calabar processing flour. There's a flour mill there, Crown Flour Mills. And factories like this generate high volume of heavy-duty vehicles. So this road is a very critical road. I'm sad that for the years I have passed through this road, long ago, that the road is still in this sorry state. Roads that support economic movement, activities in Nigeria should be given special attention. In terms of this motion paper, that contracts have been awarded for this road and the execution has been poor. I think it is very important that we emphasize on the need, as prayed, that the contractor should go and immediately complete this project. And if there's anything delaying the completion of the project, government should release money. This Calabar to Itu, to southeast, is not only Itu, it doesn't stop at Itu or Ikorekbene. It goes all the way, and the vehicles come from Lagos even, going through this road to Calabar to carry processed goods, flours, from the flour mills, from Lafarge cement factory. And sometimes because of the bad portions on this road, trailers break down with the goods they are carrying, leading to traffic jam. Mr. President, not just because of now that I'm in Abuja, I used to ply this road regularly to Calabar. So for the fact that the road is not serving south-south, as my brothers try to show, our people use this road more than the people in the south-south. Southeast people use this road more than the people from the south-south. They are disturbing me. Our people use this road so much. So we are interested. And that's why I'm joining my voice to demand that this road should be immediately completed. And I want to add that when such important facilities are brought through a motion here, we shall be very wary of dressing it with other needs of roads across Nigeria in the prayer, like my brother is trying to suggest. When we lump a lot of such demands in a motion, it tends to kill the purpose of the motion. This road is a very critical road. Motions can be brought for East-West Road. We have done one before on East-West Road. We emphasize it again on its own terms so that this Calabar Itu Aba Road into the southeast should be immediately tackled so that vehicles can move smoothly to Calabar Export Processing Zone, to all the places we have things to ferry out from this important area. Tank farms are there too. I know that my brother Dozie Oil has a tank farm in Calabar there. All the traders that go there to carry products go through this Odupani, Itu Calabar, Itu Aba, Ikorekbana Aba, into the southeast and to Lagos and other parts of Nigeria. So that's why I'm saying that we shall deal with this motion and give it all the seriousness it deserves, so that we don't whittle down the importance. Thank you, Mr. President. I so support.
Thank you. Distinguished colleagues, we have a lot of items on the other paper, but I was expecting the minority leader to even narrate his plight on this road. The last time we had a small function in Calabar, he attempted to take the road, and it took him over 7-8 hours, a distance of 45 minutes. And he missed his flight. He ended up being stranded in Uyo because he was struggling to move from Calabar to the place. And the road is also very important to the built industry in Nigeria, because at Akamkpa, that's where you get the gravel That's where you get the granites and all that. So a lot of trailers move from there through Akwa Ibom to Aba, through Akwa Ibom to Port Harcourt and Bayelsa and all that. So it will continuously break down due to the heavy traffic and all that. But it's really, really bad. I'm surprised to hear that even from 2007, this issue had always plagued the House of Representatives when my brother Tambowa was the speaker. Well, now it has reached a point where nobody's passing through the road at all. People are using water and people are dying on the waterways. So it's also actually my road because it passes through my place. I didn't want to look personal. That's why I'm not making any comment. But I want to join you to appeal to the Ministry of Works to see what they can do. I had a discussion with the minister. I said they gave the road to 3 companies. One is Samatech, one is JEBI, and the other one is CCECC. I don't know what issues they are having, and I think either JEBI abandoned the road, packed out of the road out of anger, and so for the past how many years, the road has remained the way it is now, a dead trap. Commuters are on that road for at least 9 days. Many vehicles, goods, and services are on that road. Tomatoes spoil on the road, everything. So it's something that we have to help Nigeria. It's a road that is very commercially viable. Aba cannot walk. Port Harcourt cannot receive goods. Even the Bayelsa and other parts of Nigeria from there to Lagos. But we do hope that this resolution of the Senate today will help. Thank you for bringing it to the floor, Senator Asokwo. We go to the prayers. Prayer 1, mandate the Senate Committee on Works to investigate the reasons behind the non-completion of repairs on the Odukpani to Federal Highway, including assessing the utilization of funds allocated for the project over subsequent budget cycles. Those in support of prayer 1 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2, direct the Committee on Works to summon the relevant agencies, including the Federal Ministry of Works, Federal Road Safety, Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA, and contractors involved in the project to provide detailed reports on the status of the highway and revert to this August Assembly within the next 2 weeks. Those in support of prayer 2 as amended say aye, and those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 3, urge the federal government of Nigeria to prioritize the immediate completion of this Odukpani to highway to alleviate the sufferings of Nigerians and to unlock the economic potential of the 3 regions involved. Those in support of prayer 3 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Right? I do hope that this will be the last time.
Additional prayer.
Yes, additional prayer.
Thank you, Mr. President, and my distinguished colleagues. Senator Isa Shoaibulao, representing the good people of Taraba North. My additional prayer is that the Senate should urge the Federal Ministry of Works to review its policy on the use of concrete for construction of road in view of the existing contract for construction of roads using asphalt-based products. Your Excellency, this policy has virtually halted the construction of roads in virtually all over the Federation because most of the contractors, they disagree with the Federal Ministry of Works on the fact that they have an existing contract of asphalt-based road. And now you are asking them midway to revert to concrete roads. And the pricing is not the same. The cost of concrete construction is different with asphalt base. And midway into the contract, you cannot say that they must move concrete. And that has affected most of the construction firm, and they have stopped. They virtually closed their sites. So my prayers urge the Federal Ministry of Works to review the policy of use of concrete roads all over the federation.
Yes.
Thank
Any
you. I so
seconder?
move.
Yes, this is Senator Salim Mustafa.
Your Excellency, Senate President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Salih Mustafa, representing Kwara Central. I rise to second the additional prayers ably moved that the Ministry of Works should review its policy on the use of concrete in existing contracts already of our roads, so that some of these existing contracts can meet their mandate. I rise to second as moved, sir.
Distinguished colleagues, an additional prayer has been proposed by distinguished Senator Shaibu Lau and seconded by distinguished Senator Salim Mustafa that we should urge the Federal Ministry of Works to review its policy on concrete pavements on roads, particularly for old roads that contracts were already awarded for asphalt, and that it will amount to moving the goalposts in the middle of a penalty, and that concrete pavements should be limited to only new constructions of roads and not old roads that had already been awarded years back and were already ongoing, and that this has halted the construction of roads in the country. I think this is an important prayer. And those in support of this additional prayer say aye. Those again say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished Senator Karimi, your voice was very loud. I don't know, but I want you to know that what Senator Lau said is that for contracts that were given in respect of asphalt and have gone sometimes 70, 80%, that to tell them halfway to revert to concrete pavement, that has halted construction of internal roads in the country, and that we should urge the Federal Minister of Works to review that policy, and then concrete pavements should be used for new constructions. And those contracts that were given for asphalt should be allowed to be concluded with asphalt. I don't think it's an unreasonable request. And I think it's something that the Senate has already decided. Anyway, my majority carries the day. And then the minority voice you expressed is just that you overshouted. That's why I pointed you out. So you are ruled out of order. Yes, leader of the Senate. Leader of the Senate. We can't handle only point of order for debate unless it's very urgent. Go on.
Mr. President.
It's a point of order. Huh? No, don't bring it here now.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to also lean on Order 4151. Mr. President, with your permission, I may read. With your permission, I may read, sir, Order 4151.
You may wish to approach the chair. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the first business of the day is presentation of a House bill standing in the name of Federal Medical Center, Ikole Ekiti, Bill 2024 HB 1037. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal Medical Center Ikole Ekiti Bill 2024, HB 1037, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Federal Medical Center Ikole Ekiti Bill 2024 HB 1037. First reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the second business of the day is presentation of bill standing in the name of Senator Musa Muhammad Sani on the Strengthening Career and Technical Training Bill 2024 SB 641. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Strengthening Career and Technical Training Bill 2024, SB 641, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, 1 minute. Strengthening Career and Technical Training Bill 2024, SB 641, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate. This point of order. In reality, okay, but go on. Let's
Order
give
42
an
by the indulgence of
agenda.
the Senate and the leave of the President of the Senate. A senator may make a personal explanation, although there be no question before the Senate. But no controversial matter may be brought forward, nor may debate arise upon the explanation. The terms of the proposed statement shall be submitted in detail to the President of the Senate when his leave to make it is brought. I'm continuing to bring the explanation, sir, since you have not objected. I should go ahead. Okay. I wish to inform the Senate that today is International World Children's Day. It marks the United Nations General Assembly's adoption of the Declaration of Rights of Children in 1959, as well as Convention on the Rights of Children. The theme for this year is investing in our future by empowering children to build a better world. The Senate has celebrated this day already. I just want to inform the chamber by inviting 250 children to the NAS library, where they had interactive sessions with some senators, and the Senate has provided entertainment and refreshment for the children and their teachers. They came and observed the proceedings of the Senate, and I just wanted the chamber to be informed. Thank you. I so submit.
Thank you. Leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm very distinguished senators. I listened to our most distinguished Senator Ireti Kingibe, Chairman of the Senate Committee on Women Affairs. Her point of order, I believe, was in order. And Mr. President, as the presiding officer, you are the chief custodian and the chief interpreter of our rules. However, I felt for the purpose of ensuring
that we sustain the standard and procedure and the custom and convention of this Senate. I want to bring to the attention of every distinguished senator the provision of Order 38 of our rules. Order 38 reads, unless the Senate otherwise directs, the business of each sitting day shall be transacted in the following order. 1, formal entry of the President of the Senate. 2, prayers. 3, approval of votes and proceedings. 4, oath and affirmation of allegiance and oath and affirmation of membership of new senators elect. Subsection 5, message from the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. 6, other announcement by the President of the Senate. 7, petitions. 8, matters of urgent public importance. 9, personal explanation, as raised by distinguished Senator Ireti Kingibe. And 10, order of the day. Essentially, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I would encourage our distinguished colleagues to ensure that matters of urgent public importance pursuant to orders 41 and 51 and or only order 41, as well as personal explanation pursuant to order 42, be raised timeously and before we start the business of the day. Already, the time for the Senator Ireti Kingibe to raise this is already passed. But because of the importance of the issue that she raised concerning the International Day of the Child, may I, Mr. President, seek the indulgence of your good self and our distinguished colleagues to allow her to raise this by way of asking for a suspension of our order in this regard. But it is important that our distinguished colleagues know this. Thank you, sir.
But the issue is noted. The reality is that we must be very careful since we don't have too many women in the chambers. So whenever they raise any issue, we must listen to them. Otherwise, they will say that we are marginalizing women. And so it's also good for distinguished senators to have recourse to Order 38 of our rules so that we can follow the procedure, systematically and ensure that the business of the Parliament is conducted in line with the rules. So, distinguished Senator Kingibe, we have, in addition, is it the view of the Senate that should be allowed to conclude on what she raised, a view? Or is it the view of the Senate that what she has concluded be sustained by the Senate President despite the fact that it was out of order? Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Because of the importance of it, we congratulate our children for coming all the way from various institutions to the NAS library to congregate and to interact with the distinguished senators on this all-important day of the Children's Day. I see so many of you are still in the gallery. We welcome you. We pray that God will elevate you, give you the wisdom to grow and then sustain this country and then be productive. And you will not be a reproach to this country. You will be a pride to Nigeria as you grow older. God bless all of you. God be with you. And God take you back safely to your destinations. Amen. 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 You may be seated. Thank you. Yes, Leader of the Senate. Distinguished colleagues, Strengthening Career and Technical Training Bill 2024, SB 641, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. The third business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Musa Mustafa on the National Livestock Protection, Control and Management, etc. Bureau Bill 2024 SB 642. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, National Livestock Protection, Control and Management ETC Bureau Bill 2024, SB 642, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, National Livestock Protection, Control and Management Bureau Bill 2024, SB 642, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the fourth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Chukwu Chizoba Kelvin on the Institute of Information and Communication Technology in Kano West, Enugu State, Establishment Bill 2024, SB 643. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Institute of Information and Communication Technology in Kano West, Enugu State Establishment Bill 2024, SB 643, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Institute of Information and Communication Technology in Kano West, Enugu State Establishment Bill 2024, SB 643, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the fifth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Oluwole Fashuyi Cyril on the National Assembly Property Management and Control Establishment Bill 2024, SB 645. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, National Assembly Property Management and Control Establishment Bill 2024, SB 645, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, National Assembly Property Management and Control Establishment Bill 2024, SB 645, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, the sixth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Salihu Mustafa on the Agricultural Extension Services Bill 2024, SB 646. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Agricultural Extension Services Bill 2024, SB 646, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Agricultural Extension Services Bill 2024, SB 646, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
At this point, Mr. President, very distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, may I move that we go into a closed-door session to discuss some issues of national importance before we continue with the plenary session. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I hereby second the motion that we go to closed section meeting to discuss a further matter. I so second.
Colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that we do go into closed session to discuss matters of national importance. Those in support of the motion say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. We go into closed session to discuss matters of national importance.